Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Let me introduce you to, once again, I've got somebody on the phone I want you to talk to, just to kind of put some perspective on this. This is Sam Taylor is on the line. Sam Taylor is a CPA in the great state of Arkansas. Sam, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you could come on. I'm trying to kind of process this whole Trump Russia collusion. You know, they're now saying, "Oh, is this the first hard evidence of collusion?" No, it's not. Before I get specifically to your experience, Sam, what's your general take on this right now?
Well, my overall opinion is this is just a full-blown witch hunt. Sour grapes from the left, they can't accept reality. In most cases, people know that. But this is just nothing more than a witch hunt of, it's going to go away, then something else pops up. They don't want it to end because they don't want to talk about the real issues. They want to talk about how Daddy Trump cheated and how he shouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing more than something, it's a distraction to the real issues at hand.
Yeah, and if it keeps going, I mean, we're going to be 2 years in, and we're going to be a year in, then 2 years in, and we're not going to have any of the key policy discussions and debates that we really want to have, which is essentially rolling back the size of government. I mean, that's kind of where we want to get. But specifically, you have a story, and you actually, I believe, did you called in from last year at the Republican National Convention? Didn't you come on the show to talk about, Ted Cruz's speech and, the whole controversy with
did.
it? Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you went, you're based in Arkansas, but you went as a guest of the Louisiana Republican delegation. So you were kind of sitting with them in the convention center as the convention went on, correct?
Right. So there's the floor, and then there's the what they call first level, and we were on the second level, which is the equivalent to the nosebleeds and the queue is what they call the arena there that the Cavaliers play basketball. But we were situated right dead center, so we had a perfect center view of the stage and everything. And as we're sitting there, just enjoying the festivities and whatnot, notice this guy sitting in front of us with his wife, a real sleek, silver-haired guy who had a bunch of plainclothes people around him, but I didn't really know who he was. We sit there through the first day, didn't say anything, and the second day we get there, he's in the same spot, and we sat behind him again, and we finally got the notion to ask who he was. We didn't ask him directly, but we asked one of his.
He had bodyguards, right?
Plainclothes people, right? Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So his name is I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Geert Wilders.
Yeah. Yep.
He ran for Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and narrowly was defeated. But how their political system works, basically, you're the party leader, and you get the number of seats based on how much of the vote you get. I'm not sure, but he lost just barely. But as we were talking to these people, they didn't know who we were, but they were like, is there any way that you could get us a meeting with Trump? Geert really wants to talk to him and share some ideas and whatnot. And that kind of ties back into this situation, where in any kind of election, especially the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, you're going to have world leaders from all over wanting to talk to him, get his ear, have his attention, to give whatever spiel, whatever help they can offer for favors down the road, whatever. That's just commonplace. So the fact that the left is coming after Trump for meeting with some random Russian lawyer is just ridiculous.
I got to tell you, this is why the story was so interesting, and I feel like it brings context. I mean, a lot of people already know this, but I mean, he's sitting there. So you're sitting there in Cleveland, and you want to know who this silver-haired guy is. We were just throwing some photos up there so people could get a look at him. Wikipedia article, and the how he narrowly lost the election there in the Netherlands. Geert Wilders, this guy, very outspoken about radical Islam and the dangers of immigration. So it's there's no question as to why he's a Trump supporter. And so what you're saying is you guys are just guests inside a Republican delegation from Louisiana, but there were people saying, "Hey, can we get a few minutes? Can we get 30 seconds? Can we get 2 minutes with Donald Trump?" Like you guys are going to be able to make that happen. I mean, that just kind of shows you the kind of culture that this this political system kind of creates.
Right, and I think of it kind of like lobbyists in Washington. They're just dying to get to talk to a congressman or senator. They're not ever really going to get face-to-face time without having to go through their staff members first. Just thinking that us, two random people in the audience have the pull to, set up a meeting with Donald Trump. It's just funny, but it's like you said, it's indicative of, who knows how many other, people like him were in the audience there that, people like me had no idea who they were because I had to Google him myself before I knew who he was.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, I like how we're talking with Sam Taylor. He's an Arkansas CPA. He was at the Republican National Convention, and he's, recounting this story. I like how you use the word lobbyists because, as much as I, talk about the pitfalls, the how bad the special interests are in lobbyists, there's nothing illegal about being a lobbyist. There's nothing illegal about your industry, trying to get something from the government. I happen to disagree. I wish we would just be left alone. I wish we had barriers to that, to where we, the government just can't do these certain things. It was a limited government, but that's not the reality that we find ourselves in. The similar situation happens globally with all of these, nationalists, from other countries are wanting to say, hey, I just would like to meet this guy in case he pulls it out. And like I said, I opened the show by talking about how the Ukraine, they were on Hillary Clinton's side. And by the way, if you start to kind of dive into that, you'll remember there was that whole dispute, with the Ukraine and with the elections and whether or not, America was in there trying to subvert some things, and then Russia, they have their interests and everything else. And I am not by any means suggesting that Russia's interests are benign. I don't believe that at all. But there's just so much here, and just a simple story that you told provides a lot of context that the mainstream media is just going to completely leave out. I mean, they want you to think there was some, Mission Impossible style meetings, cloak and dagger, James Bond type stuff to try to steal the presidency. I mean, that's really what they're trying to say is that Donald Trump used the Russians, used this one lawyer to steal the presidency.
Sure, and the fact that everybody is ignoring is Trump Jr. never had a face-to-face with this person. It was an exchange of emails. And there's no telling how many emails are exchanged from campaigns to, world leaders everywhere. There's no telling how much that happened and how commonplace that really is. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's just a witch hunt, in my opinion. I think the majority of Americans agree, and they're growing weary of media, ignoring the issues at hand and just continuing on with this, arbitrary witch hunt about Russia. I mean, it's getting worse and worse. I mean, you said, everybody thought that Trump had no chance. Well, that just shows you how disconnected the media is with the American people.
Yeah, and they still are.
All these polls, and they really are. And these special elections that happen, the Democrats are going to gain seats. What happened? People haven't changed since the election. They still feel the same way. They're still upset at the establishment. They want things to change, but the establishment and the media just aren't going to go down without a fight. That's for sure. But it's up to the American people to be smarter than that and not to fall for it. So
yeah, you're exactly right. I was talking. There's a Democrat on one of the, I think MSNBC this morning. He was saying, "Look, this Russia story is not going to take back any of the state houses that used to belong to Democrats but now belong to Republicans. Like that's just that. This is really a big. This is going nowhere. I mean, now that's
right.
You
and
know,
it's not like this is going to get Trump impeached either.
yeah.
I mean, there has to be laws broken and formal charges, not just speculation.
Yeah.
You know.
So what they're really trying to do,
narrative.
Sam, is they're trying to kill his agenda. Because if you make him so tarnished that anything that he supports, you could potentially scare away Congress from wanting to have anything to do with him. And unfortunately, you've got a lot of, quite frankly, I think Bush loyalists and some Republicans in the establishment that don't really believe in conservatism, and so we've got that
the John
aspect.
McCain's of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey Graham, John McCain's, things like that.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. So we got a lot of work to do. Sam, I appreciate you coming on the program. I appreciate your story there because, again, I feel like I haven't heard that anywhere else. I haven't heard anybody with a firsthand experience of Geert Wilders people trying to get you to get him a meeting with Donald Trump. That's just hilarious.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm happy to share it, and I'd be happy to come on anytime. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. Sam Taylor, everybody, Arkansas CPA.